we actually teach workshops specifically on SEO and retargeting. That's about 4 to 5 hours long. So we're not going to actually give that justice today, but we're going to get people started on where's the quickest place that you can get traction and start increasing your local brand awareness and even global. So Louis, talk to us a little bit about why Facebook marketing and how is it effective? I mean, why should we be there?
Well, everybody has that question, why Facebook marketing? And what you see on the screen, we'll start from the top. Well, let's start with the 2.5 billion monthly users. I think that if you're in business, there are customer potentials there. There are conversions for your business within that 2.5 billion monthly users. There are 1.59 billion daily users. Let's face it, in today's day and age, we are more accessible than ever. And so there are opportunities for us to take advantage of that and to move our businesses forward. Number 3 is 75% of US adult citizens access daily. Well, we like to hear that, right? It's adults that most of us are marketing to, and that's a very good thing for us. More than half of American adults visit multiple times per day. And that's another good thing, right? If we're happy if someone contacts us 1 time a day, or we're in front of people once a day, that's happening multiple times a day. And number 5, this is the only place that more than half of American adults make themselves accessible to you multiple times every day. So the opportunities are huge. And who would not want to be in a position to have access to this? And by the way, the ROI in Facebook marketing is incredible. So,
well, that's a great point, Louis. And I think what, I spent the first half of my career in traditional retail. So when you say that the only place, where American adults make themselves accessible to you multiple times a day, that would be like a potential customer walking through your brick and mortar store multiple times a day, except we're click and order now. So that is very compelling and is a tremendous opportunity that people may not, realize, much less understand how to leverage. So I know that, oops, hang on 1 second here. I know that we're going to play a little bit of a video real quick. So go ahead, Louis.
in addition to all of this, and that, to add on to what Beth said a second ago, it used to be that from 9 to 5, or there were certain hours that people looked for things. It's a 24/7, 365-day-a-year situation now, and that's a whole different ballgame. So I'm going to share my screen.
Yeah, go ahead. The video that we're going to show you really gives you sort of a kind of a first adopter scenario, and then it dovetails into specifically Facebook. So we're going to take you up to the macro level and then take you down to the micro with Facebook marketing. So take it away, Louis.
No.
After you tap into hot buyers, then it's time to look at passive prospects. I told you guys we were going to make this simple, right? With active searchers, you have 2 options, pay-per-click or SEO. If you want to get in front of this audience, those are the only 2 ways to get there. So what's next? Well, you remember earlier I talked about how searches were great, but they were limited. Once you are tapping into search, you need to start creating awareness for your business with passive prospects. That's where we want to focus on amplifying your awareness. Passive is all about creating awareness. The truth about sales is people buy things because they feel like it. If you want to sell to those prospects, you need to make them feel like buying whatever it is you're selling. Social media is a great way to create awareness. And I see a lot of people trying to do this on their own, but there's a couple of things they are doing wrong. They are using social platforms to try and make people feel like buying their stuff. They are posting about things like, are you open? And how can people work with you? Have you shifted your products and services? Are you offering any special deals? These are all great things to talk about and create awareness around. There's only one problem with this approach. Nobody is seeing your page posts. Facebook made a change a while back that only shows these posts to a small percentage of people who like your page. And when I say a small, it's small, 6 to 10%. And that is just of the people who like your page. Sure, creating awareness with them is important, but that's just the beginning. Facebook billboard and boomerang ads are a great strategy. The real opportunity is using these ads to get in front of all the other people who could be buying from you, and that's where Facebook shines. Facebook billboard ads. Everybody knows Facebook knows everything about everyone, and that they let you use that to your advantage. Instead of wasting lots of money showing your ads to everyone in Tracy, you can target just the people that fit your demographic. Here's a local pool company running an ad. It's actually a new ad that speaks the pivot they made to their virtual pool planning service, and it's crushing it. 538 likes, 186 comments, and 48 shares. Here's who they are likely targeting. Homeowners, married, age 25 to 65, 50-mile radius of the office. Bring back prospects. Another type of ad is what we call a boomerang ad. It's this because it brings customers back to your site. I'm sure you've experienced this before. You are shopping online for something, and all of a sudden, this thing starts following you everywhere. Any site you go to, this set of golf clubs is following you all around. The reason you see this strategy so often is because it works. When you are creating awareness with someone, they need to see your company and offer over and over again in order to make it stick and push them to the next step. Boomerang ads paired with billboard ads are a great combination and give you an incredible opportunity to get your business in front of the right person and stick with them until they purchase.
That is good stuff, Louie. And again, this is really where you want to start thinking about your business development ascension process. So let's see, I'm going to share my screen here and get back to some examples that Louie has. I keep messing this up here. Okay, so Louie, oh shoot.
Back one.
There we go. So Louie, here are some examples that we want to show everyone of sort of what right looks like, or what effectiveness looks like. And I want you to, before he begins, I want you to think of like a water faucet turned on and then turned off. So Louie, can you take us through these examples real quick?
Yes, so what you see on the left side, the very first one, this company was after link clicks, and that's exactly what they got, was 1,900 or 1,091 link clicks. Now that was in a designated time, and they achieved the goal that they were after. When it came time to change things, to the right of that, you can see what Beth was talking about, the faucet effect. So the brief pause in ads netted them 0 link clicks. As you move to the right, one more slide or one more section, you'll see that the link clicks start to come right back. And again, when you go over to the right, as soon as that ad finished, the link clicks stopped. And here in this particular situation, they were looking for link clicks to make sales. These were shop now and learn more call to actions that were available to them.
So talk about brand awareness. I mean, when I see this, I'm like, gosh, if I could get in front of almost 1,100 people for, how much would that cost per day on an ad spend? I mean, some people are like, oh my gosh, marketing, it's an expense. Well, it's not. It's a revenue generating line item on your P&L. So what kind of expense is associated with this?
Well, let me just tell you that these particular ads were $2 per day.
Wow.
And anybody can have $2 a day in their pocket. In fact, if you go to Starbucks once a day,
Right.
you already blew more money than they put in their budget. So as I said earlier, that ROI is incredible. Now you can choose whatever your ad spend, whatever you think it needs to be, but we will consult with you on that and move you to the right amount.
Right, and this is a very targeted. So I know there's another one here. Let me just click forward. So let's, what is this one about?
Did we skip one there?
There we go.
All right, so this is a service that got on board with us, and they didn't have a lot of time and they didn't have a lot of money. So what you're going to see here is, again, that $2 amount on the very left with the first video picture, and they received 100 clicks in about 12 days. And that's a company that's brand new. No one knew anything about them, who they did, what they did, or where they were. And as you move to the right, once again, we see that faucet turned off again. And that's what happens every single time. As we move further to the right, and we created a new ad and started that running, they then received 132 clicks in about 10 days. And then they decided that they needed to stop. And guess what? So did the link clicks. So
yeah, this is very interesting because this is a $2 a day investment ad spend on Facebook. And so what I've noticed, so these are videos, not posts, or posts combined with videos. Is that correct?
These, yeah, these are actual videos. We actually encourage you to use videos for a couple of reasons. One of the major reasons is that it's the source of choice. People want to watch videos. When asked a question a while back, would you like to continue watching the video, or excuse me, if you would like to continue reading, click here. If not, you can watch the video. And 97% of the people watch the video. The other part of video is that we can embed data into the video that will get you more Google search results. So Google will see those and they will go right to your ad, which is a very good thing. And of course, these ads will also help the traffic on your website.
Most definitely. So let me just address something. So this is all great, fine and dandy, right? So we've got, a lot of people, a lot of clicks, a lot of reach, a lot of brand exposure. They're coming to a website, and let's just say, boom, nothing happens. Okay. So, in this particular scenario, our job would be to, or whoever, to get your brand awareness up. So what you've got to do is you got to give them a compelling reason to do something more. So just because they get to your website and let's say they leave without taking action, that tells me two things. One, either your content is not compelling enough to grab their attention. You might be, and I see this all the time, business owners talk about what they do, who they are, not why they do it. People need to connect and will connect with purpose. And when you make that connection, price will not be a variable because there is an automatic level of trust and decision-making that they're going to work with you because you're aligned correctly. The second thing is maybe your offer is not substantial or effective enough as well. So if you notice on this particular one where it says $50 discount on the month of August, for me, I would not recommend that you give up the gold on the first date, right? So you want to get them to your website and then maybe have a pop-up for a lead magnet to capture an email address and download your $50 discount or whatever the offer is. So if you're not getting the lead conversions that you want, reevaluate your content on your site or your blog, whatever it is, wherever you're driving them to, and then reevaluate your offer. So All right, Louis. So what do we got here? What's the difference between these two and the previous ones?
Okay, so the little flower shop, they needed to create that awareness that the video talked about.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's exactly what they did with 100,134 people reached in the lifetime of that ad, which is still currently running, and they've almost doubled that already in a very short period of time. So they accomplished their goal. They wanted people outside of Tracy to have access to their flowers and their arrangements, and they're getting that. And to the right of that is BNI. Some people here may be familiar with what BNI is, but in any event, it's a networking group. And they achieved 1,895 link clicks, which sent them directly to a sign-up page. So there was no playing around here. They were sent to the area that was appropriate for the advertising that they were doing. And again, it's $2 a day.
All of these were $2 a day. Okay. And that goes directly to Facebook. So, and I love how, these are all local businesses here. So, you got to determine, if you want reach or link clicks, and they're actually two different things. I don't know if you can kind of delve into that a little bit, Louis, what the difference is.
Yeah, well, so reach means that you showed up on their Facebook page somewhere. The ad showed up, and you probably somewhere in that pile of information that Facebook has on everybody, they found a match. So you were able to reach that person, and that person knew nothing about you until that time. So this wasn't friends. This wasn't anything that would normally be
right, limited to a 10% exposure rate. Right. So here's another thing that you need to know. If you are conducting a Facebook ad, you have the ability to also upload your email list, people who have opted in, and specifically target prospects as well, past clients, past prospects, people who might have contacted you that you did not make contact with. So you can leverage that as well. Right?
Yeah, and one other thing, Beth, before I turn it over to you. Also, you can create an audience through people who have watched the video for a certain length of time. So Facebook will give you all of that information, and that's another powerful part of the Facebook advertising platform. With that said, Beth?
Yes, sir. All right, Louis, that was really valuable information. So, and it's pretty easy to set these up. And so the first step in repositioning your business through this COVID pandemic, or going from brick and mortar to click and order, is we're now going to step through the next, or step up through the new digital front door with online reviews. And the fact is that people, your website is really not the first place people are going to go right now. They're going to do a search query, and you're going to pop up, and I'm going to show you how that's done and how you can harness that power of Google. So I want to talk about your Google My Business profile. And the fact is, for example, Google My Business is actually considered a social media profile because you can set up posts, offers, etc. But what's important to really understand is that it is vital for your business, and it also supports local search engine optimization. So you can go through, these bullet points here, but I will tell you that almost half of people that are conducting Google searches have a local intent, meaning they're searching for something near them, near me. Best restaurant near me. And 93% of those local searches have a Google My Business listing. So it is critical. If you don't get anything else out of this time together today, set up your Google My Business listing. We're going to show you how to do that. So, So here's what it would look like. Okay, now we just took kind of a random non-local place just so we didn't highlight anybody local of Dandelion Chocolate. This is actually a organization that has 133 reviews based out of San Francisco. So what are the features of your Google My Business profile that you need to set up? Obviously your name, your description, hours, all your pertinent information, website, photos, posts, etc. People can schedule appointments. But in the second bullet point where it says description, this is probably the most important part for you to consider, because the content that you want to put into that description, make sure that you craft the content based on search terms that people would typically type in to look for you. So Dandelion Chocolate, the best chocolatier in San Francisco. We serve, small batch chocolate, whatever it is. So you want to sprinkle in some of those keywords, those intentional keywords within that description and max out the word count on that as well. So, all of these core functions that your website does or offers is on your Google My Business page. And I would consider your GMB profile as what I would call a micro website. It's like a micro site, because people will go there first. They're doing a search, see your reviews, and then they will give you, you have the best, based on your information, it'll have you the best first right of refusal of a call. So what happens when you set up your Google My Business profile? So after you get it set up, part of the best practice that Google has is they will actually send you through snail mail a verification card with the specific code on it that you'll have to go back in and log in and verify your account. And that's when you are a verified business. So once you set up your GMB profile, it probably takes probably 4 to 5 days for you to get this in your mail. So you would definitely want to keep an eye out, and then you just log back in and enter in that code, and then you're set up. And you definitely want to make sure that you are posting on your GMB profile daily. So online reviews, guys, definitely means more business. We are in a review culture. Don't know how you guys shop, but most of the folks that I know definitely go to the reviews first. So I want to ask you, how often do you check reviews? If you're like me and shop on Amazon, the first thing that I do is go through and sort by average customer review, 4 stars and up. So I mean, what are the odds I'm the only one that does that, right? So the other thing is, do you read negative reviews? And I will tell you that negative reviews are not necessarily a bad thing. If you don't have a 5-star across the board rating, let's say you're 4.8, 4.7, whatever, that actually looks a little bit more legit. But it's how you respond as a business owner to a negative review that people pay attention to. People are not going to necessarily give credence to the negative review. They're going to give credence to how you handled it. And I see this all the time. We got to go in and try to fix this. For a lot of clients, is that the owner gets in an online fight with the client that, does not shine well on that particular business's brand. So, but you want to make sure that you always respond not only to negative reviews, but to positive reviews as well. When you respond to a review, you need to make sure that you're also sprinkling in some of those long tail keywords, because remember, you're on Google, and it's going to add a little bit more fuel to that search engine power there. So again, your first 2 places that you want to start pivoting your business, Facebook ads and drive those online reviews. So Louis, let's do a little example here. So we did a search out of the area, Jefferson, Georgia, looking for a roofing company. So Louis, which company on this search, this is the keyword, Jefferson, Georgia roofing company, who would you call first?
The middle guy. I see a 4.4 star and 26 reviews.
Okay. And why is that? I mean, what does that mean to you as a consumer?
Well, that means that people are reviewing his work. So he's getting a number of clients that have something to say about him that I could take a look at. And the 4.4 tells me that there are probably a lot of positive, not probably,
There are.
they're all positive. So
Right.
that's where I'm going, because I have a leaky roof and I need to find someone that I can trust, and he stands out.
Right. So here is an example of third-party validation, social proof. It is equivalent to talking to your best friend. Who do you recommend? You know, what movie do you recommend that I go see? It's the same thing, but it's online and digital. So this is a priority for most local businesses here. So there's actually a whole bunch of key factors in reviews, but I want to review 4 key of them. Okay, four key review factors. Obviously, people are going to look at your average star rating. They're also going to look at the total number of reviews that you have, or the lack of reviews that you have, the timestamp of them, meaning how frequent are they, and then how do you respond if there happens to be a negative one. So businesses with more reviews are 2 times more likely to rank in this Google 3-pack. And this 3-pack is driven by your location on your phone or your office location, wherever you are. So you want to definitely focus on that. And when you use your GMB listing effectively and correctly, it is absolutely what we call a high octane client acquisition engine. So where can clients leave reviews for you? Obviously, you know, there's a whole slew of them. And this is one of the services that we offer, and we connect with probably over 300 potential review sites, helping our clients, you know, get those. But 90% of consumers use that internet to find a local business, and a third of them looking every day. And more than half of sort of the mid-age of 18 to 54 always read reviews. And the average customer reads 10 reviews before being able to really trust that business. And the other thing you need to know is they also look at more than one review site. So for example, they'll look at Google, then they'll probably go over to your Facebook business page and see what your reviews are there. Although on Facebook, they are technically called reviews, but they're addressed as recommendations. So, and then a little over half people, if you asked them, would consider using a business less than 4 stars. And the majority of folks will read your response. And this is important, the most persuasive reviews have a timestamp within the last 2 weeks. So if you've got reviews that are 6 months, 9 months, a year, year and a half old, they're actually considered irrelevant. So the quality of those reviews is one of the most important things that you guys can do for your local search engine optimization, okay? And the service provider or business that has that have really the most 4- and 5-star customer reviews present a greater street cred, if you will, and they will receive either more clicks to their website or inbound phone calls. So I want you to take a look at your business. If you have a GMB profile set up, how do you measure up? So here's your benchmark. All right, average local business has 39 Google reviews. If you are below that, don't sweat it, but this would be a priority. So to get to that kind of, C average level of a 39. Local businesses also show up in the local SEO pack that have 47 or more Google reviews. So, I don't want to read the news here to you, but again, if you're below 39 Google reviews, let's get to work on that. So these strategies work. I hear this all the time. Well, Beth, I ask my customers to leave me reviews and they don't. I train my employees to ask, but it's not a priority. We provide awesome service. I talk to my husband, I talk to my kids, I talk to my neighbor to leave me a review. That is not the way to do it. Okay, you want to connect with legitimate reviews, which are based on your current clients or past clients. And the top reason my folks don't leave reviews, 3 things: I don't know how, I don't have time, or I forgot to do it. So you want to be able to, get them into a system that you make it easy for them. You can send them an email or use a review platform like we use, or send text. And I want to talk about that for a second. links in their signature line on their emails. You want to, you can put a review us button on your website. Or if you're let's say a real estate agent or work with clients, exchanging a business card or, a paper item, you can insert or embed a QR code for an easy scan for a review. So here is your homework. All right. Here's what we need you to do. We want you to set up your Google My Business listing immediately and then optimize it based on what I taught you in terms of your description and using those intentional keywords, queries that people would use to find your business. And I want you to generate 5 reviews in the next 2 weeks with the goal of getting up to that 39 level. Think of 39 reviews as sort of the price admission to play the game. And make sure that you respond to all of them. And if there's a way that you can integrate reviews into your website, you need to do that as well. If not, we can certainly help you with that. So Louis, talk to us about the importance of website design.
Well, this picture will tell the story. You want to look the best you can. You only have a few seconds to capture someone's enthusiasm or to make them feel comfortable, like they want to buy from you. And that is certainly what the picture on the right does. But unfortunately, there are many businesses who look more like the left. So if you aren't dressed for your business, if you aren't dressed to provide the service that you say you provide, and you don't have the image, you are not going to do well. You have to look like the left. Absolutely.
Yeah. So let's talk about it. So your Facebook ads, your Google My Business listing, and then where do they go? You drive them to your website. You want to suit up and you want to show up appropriately to the brand that you're representing and the voice of your brand as well. So if your website is subpar, like the one on the left, and people are there, I'm going to look at that and say, you know what? They didn't make the investment to take time to best represent, their brand or whatever. You immediately lose credibility, diminish the user experience, and they're out of there versus the one on the right. So we work with we almost exclusively work with WordPress. Okay, we're going to talk about kind of the top 3 platforms out there, Squarespace and Wix. There's some limitations to those. WordPress, I like working with it. Just one, it's easy. It's search engines love it. It's open source. You really don't need a developer. You've got control over it. Can customize it any way that you really want. And, Squarespace, they have some nice templates. We just actually launched a Squarespace website for a client in Canada, and it turned out very nice. But my concern from the beginning, and they were, bent on staying with Squarespace. Here's the problem. It's closed source. So if they ever go down or close up, so does your website. They actually own your content and your site. And I'm not willing to give my biggest marketing collateral to someone just for a hosting opportunity there. Wix, on the other hand, it's okay. It's for sort of really super beginner. You can always cite a Wix. You can always tell what a Wix site looks like. And when I'm looking at it, maybe it's just because I'm in the industry. It doesn't. It's just a little B-level. It doesn't offer the features, sort of the more complex features that are somewhat limited. Less blogging resources as well, but it's a trade-off because they're super inexpensive. But it's interesting because we give all our clients complete access. We set everything up for them, give them all the login credentials, and then they give us the credentials that they want us to only have access to. I know many different agencies that hold on to all that login stuff to make it hard for their clients to leave. We never want to do that. We always want to make sure that they know how to do exactly what we do, and they give us access. And if they ever want to, move into more of an in-house marketing thing, they can carry on with the success that they've experienced. So, and we teach them how to do that. So with websites, I want to go into a little bit of little off to the sideline a little bit on a current trend that is on fire right now, and it's extremely unfortunate because there are a lot of lawsuits that are happening with organizations, specifically e-commerce sites, not being what they call ADA compliant, American Disability Act compliant. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. When you're ready, this is something you definitely want to add to your website, offering a broader audience to conduct business with you. And there's a way to do it. There's only one way that I know of at this point, but we want to make sure that your website is available to all of the customers who are waiting. And we're with the social unrest in our country right now, there are many people who feel as though they are discriminated against. I went to your website. I can't shop on it because I'm blind and I can't access any of the information. I'm going to call my lawyer. So I'm going to give you some statistics that are quite disturbing. But for right now, we want to talk about, well, what does that mean? What is ADA? I spent 12 years in civil engineering. So ADA, path of travel, that was kind of a new thing back then, and everything had to be redesigned. Well, the same thing has now happened online. And so the website accessibility basically is a set of rules where folks with certain disabilities need to have access, and their design guidelines that allow them to effectively use websites. And so there's a lot of litigation going on right now in terms of this. And, and just on the first one, 200% increase in lawsuits and demand letters from 2017 to 2018. Well, we're 2020 and a half. So that's old data. All right. So you can just see what's going on here. The Department of Justice affirmed that ADA applies to websites and have been since late 2018. So that's something when you're thinking about creating your new website, that you want to make sure that this is into your design workflow. 93% of demand letters settle out of court for between $20,000 and $150,000, and I don't know anybody's got that kind of money laying around. So just something to be aware of for sure. There's a lot of different options out there. We believe that we have the best. We have a 98% success rate. Remediation every 24 hours. Again, for the less, the cost of a Starbucks coffee per day, but there's many different plugins, like UserWay is one of them. UserWay only delivers about a 20% compliancy rate. So, whatever platform you decide to use, make sure that you get a certification of accessibility. So if you ever do get approached or served, this is a document that'll hold up in court. So let's see, process, we don't probably need to go through that. So we've talked about Facebook ads to start, online reviews, dressing up your website, a little bit of a side note of making sure that it's ADA compliant. May not be a priority right now, but it is something that you want to put into your business, your marketing plan, probably within the next 12 to 18 months, just to make sure. But getting back to, how does that, that you're now in a global market. Your website is now worldwide. You're not just local Tracy. So social media supporting all of this, not just with ads. I'm going to ask Louie to kind of give you some best practices on posting, protocols or effectiveness. And I'm going to tell you this, welcome to your new full-time job. Social media is a full-time job. So if you want to really be relevant. So Louie, can you take us through these posting best practices and by profile? And I'll just make the caveat that Google My Business listing should probably be in here, and I would recommend that you duplicate the Facebook posting practices. So Louie, can you take us through?
Yeah, so let's start with Facebook. And I just want to piggyback on what Beth said about the full-time job. This is a mistake that people make all too often. they'll come to me and say, well, I've already tried Facebook ads. I've already tried Facebook, but it's not working. Well, it turns out that it's them and maybe 2 other people in their business, so they don't have the time to do this. That's why we are here. It's important that posts are done a minimum 1 per day, 5 days out of the week. You need to tag people and clients. So if you can't make a post, how are you going to do anything else that's required to make this work? You need to join and start up groups. There's a lot of valuable people in these groups as well as information. And using video is, again, very important. We talked about that earlier. So Google video. And on LinkedIn, it's 3 posts per week. Again, and it's kind of the same thing. Join groups, 4-to-1 value posts and video posts are all good. With Instagram, when we have your Facebook account, we are also sending your ads to Instagram. So Facebook and Instagram are kind of one thing. And there's 1 post per day. It's very similar to Facebook, but it's very image driven as well. And then there's Twitter. If you have a Twitter account, which would mean that you would probably, instead of working 14 hours a day on, now you're working at about 22. So.
That is so true. So let me just kind of up-level a little bit of information. So Facebook, guys, again, reply. Don't just like or heart or love or, reply and engage with your people who comment. Your video and lives, on a side note, if you have YouTube, you should be having search engine optimization implemented or integrated within your videos. Okay, so as a best practice, no hashtags on Facebook, but something recently just came out regarding hashtags. What was that with, Louis?
Well, when you make a picture post or just some text, they are now saying you can add hashtags.
All right, right. So just be mindful. I see so many people like on Instagram. Now on Instagram, you can put up to 30 hashtags per post just to start, kind of reaching that engagement. But, I particularly don't think, it just depends on the relevancy. And they don't have stories anymore. They have this new thing called Reels. It's kind of like a live thing. It's very just a semantics. LinkedIn, 4-to-1 value post. So if you're in a group, the last thing that you want to do is, promote your business like every single time you're engaged in there. So post 4 either links or articles that are relevant to the pain point of that particular audience in that group. Then on the 5th post, it is perfectly acceptable for you to celebrate something that you're doing, or if you won something, or if a promotion that you're having. So 4 value, 1 about you, 4 value, 1 about you. Ideally 3 posts per week by 10 o'clock in the morning, if you want to get specific. So anyway, yeah, but it is all about consistency. And I do recommend that you create or use a scheduling platform to manage your editorial calendar. So you can get a macro or a plan view of, what posts are going out to which platforms, because current events are going to influence what you post. So you want to be able to be in flow with what's going on in our life and our world appropriately, and then having your business show up as a brand. So I haven't asked, but is there any questions out there? We've talked a lot. We're talking about a lot of stuff today and probably going a little too fast, but any questions out there? All right. So I don't see any coming through.
I haven't seen any come through, Beth, but
okay.
I mean, this is really good information. Like, do you guys create the content that goes up for the post as well?
Yes, we can. We collaborate with the client, but that's really the hardest part, because we have to understand who the audience is. And
Gotcha.
Content, we'll dive into some best practices on that. That's really the hardest part of most any marketing marketing plan. But yeah, we'll create the video, the content on the video, as well as the content in the post for the ad. And we'll also provide owner response. So
Great.
I saw a hand raised by Lynette.
Yeah.
Hi, I was wondering how much Google Business costs.
Google My Business is free.
Got it.
It's a free
Thank you.
profile. So Lynette, go to business.google.com. That's where you want to go.
Business, would you say that again?
Yeah, go to business.google.com.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, let's talk about content writing. Content writing, again, you want to make sure that you fully understand who it is that you're talking to. And one of the things that gives me just concern is I go to many different websites and I read, and it's all about that company. Now that sounds a little bit counterintuitive. It's like, here's what we do. Here's, it's why, what, how. I mean, it's how, what, why, not why. You want to create your content based on why you do what you do, and then how you do it. And it's just kind of like, I don't care if, I don't want it to be all about you. I want to know what you can do for me as a client, as a potential consumer. So you want to shape your content over what is my pain. So let's say I'm a property manager, okay, and you own an answering service. And so how are you going to give me value as a property manager, as an answering service? Well, what is the pain that a property manager has to go through? They're pretty much 24/7. They get calls in the middle of the night that the tenant would think is an emergency. Their light bulb went out. But in the property management world, that's not an emergency. So they just got a call at 3 o'clock in the morning, and so they're missing sleep. Or, they got a call from a solicitor or whatever. So what you need to do is how are you going to solve that problem? You address the problem in the top of the content. When's the last time you had a good night's sleep, Mr. Property Manager? Here's how you solve it. Here's what your company does to solve that problem specifically. Then you may want to put in some sort of user case study of an example, and then give them a powerful and a compelling call to action to take the next step by calling you or submitting a web form. Content writing, obviously, on your website, you want to make sure that on each page you have about 500 words. 400 to 500 words minimum on each page of your website. And the reason why is because Google doesn't like, they won't really index anything less than that. So it means it's not really going to show up in the search results. So you want to give enough, put enough meat on the bones to get Google's attention. Unfortunately, we're beholden to them, but we are certified partners, so we know how to please them.
Beth?
Yes, sir.
I have another question. Kimberly's asking about scheduling software.
Yeah.
That you would recommend.
Oh, yeah.
So Facebook is one of them. Facebook has their own, but we have others. So elaborate on that a little bit, Beth.
You betcha. You betcha. And I'm sorry, who's asking the question?
Kimberly.
Kimberly. Hey, Kimberly. That is a really good question. So here's what we recommend. Obviously, Louis just said that Facebook does have a scheduling profile. I have used, for our social media accounts, I've used Agora Pulse. I like it, but I don't love it. And so we have recently switched to a scheduling software called eClincher, which I really like, and here's why. I like it because I can put all of our clients' social profiles, including Google My Business. So I can create my editorial calendar for Google My Business, Twitter, my Facebook page, business page, my LinkedIn profile, my LinkedIn business page. I can create all of those in a 2-week period, put the images in, the links in, whatever the post content is, and schedule it. And and it also gives me analytics of who is engaged with it. You know, what are the insights? And so what I can do with that information is like, gosh, if there's a particular post that is just crushing it with an insight, I can take that content and repurpose it and kind of keep going down that path. On LinkedIn, I did want to mention, you know, posts and articles are different. Those are, you want to make sure that any blogs that you write, you post as articles, not necessarily links. But eClincher is what I recommend, and that is what we use for our clients, for our social media clients. Does that answer your question? Okay. Got a couple more questions.
Hey, Beth.
Yes, sir.
Are those the correct links? I just put them in the chat. Just want to confirm. So
Let me check. Hang on. Whoops. Let me just look really quick. Why do I know? Oh, here it is. Hold on. eClincher.com. Yes. Business.google. Yes, that is correct, Eric. Thank you so much. Very good. Okay. Continuing on with content writing. So FOMO, fear of missing out, is a technique of content writing that I don't really love it because I think it comes off as too salesy, and I don't want you to scare me into buying your product. But don't put me in a position where I'm going to be like freaking out if I don't miss out on your offer. I mean, it is effective if done correctly and professionally, but that is another way of content writing. And also wanted to mention, on your website design, make sure you get a content management system where you can go in and actually update your content at your when you require, and you have full access to it. So CMS, content management system for your website. There was something else I was going to mention about content writing. Well, I can just tell you this: content, yes, is king, but consistency is the ruler. You have to be consistent. Nothing helps erode a brand more than, hey, you know, yeah, we do content writing. Well, when was your last blog? 2 years ago? So, you know, do your blogs, make sure you have SEO integrated within them as well. So when you do a blog, you want to make sure your blog's about 750 to 1,000 words. And then you want to share that content throughout your social media profile, so that you would schedule that in your eClincher or scheduling profile or platform. So, all right, Facebook ads, online reviews, website design, social media, content writing, and now to really one of my favorite topics, which is search engine optimization. This is something that, let me just give you the example. So let's say that your website is the rocket, all right? Search engine optimization is the fuel. You can have the most gorgeous, functional website WordPress or anybody else can do, but if you don't have SEO, you will not be found. So this is where you need to really enlist the support of a professional search engine optimization provider. There are many of us out there. We collaborate with a lot of them. We happen to have one of the best in the nation on our team, but regardless, you need to make sure that your site is being found. And SEO is, you know, there's a tremendous amount of research that goes into determining what are the most valuable keywords for your business as deemed by Google. And you want to build your content around those keywords and with intention. So search engine optimization, like I said, in fact, you know, I might just send you, Linda and Eric, one of our recorded presentations on that, because it is highly technical. But there's 3 types of search engine optimization: on page, off page. And off page has to deal with what they call backlinks. And then there's technical SEO, which is sort of the back end of the website. So 80% of your search engine optimization does not come from your on page, it comes from building backlinks. And I want to just give you an example of what wrong looks like. We actually had a client that their former marketing agency was going out on the internet and finding links to just kind of put into their website, and Google didn't like that. They didn't like that so much that they put that particular website in the Google sandbox. And it is a term used that basically Google disavows your entire website, and this business, this particular client virtually lost her business. And she had to change the name of her company, her URL, build a complete new website, and create a new strategy for search engine optimization that was legitimate. Backlinks are based on relationships, and they are not necessarily cheap, and they're not free. You have to do it right. But search engine optimization, again, if you do not have it embedded into your content, your beautiful website will not be found. So that is a very hot topic. And there's many, many tools out there that can determine which are the most valuable keywords available. Well, would make sense for your business. So we're going to open it up for any questions. That kind of concludes our part of our presentation today. Let me stop share here. If you guys want to get in touch with us, if you have any, we will totally help you. Okay, we're local. We're a fantastic resource to leverage to help you, reposition your business through this COVID thing. You got to do things differently, and you got to look at marketing from a perspective of it is a revenue generating line item. You can't look at it as an expense, because marketing opens the door for people to come to your business. Your job as salespeople or the owner or your sales team is to close the sale, to close that door. We can open it, you guys close it, and it's a collaborative situation. But our number is here and our email. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to give us a call. So Louis, what else do you need to add? Did we forget anything?
Well, we didn't forget it, but I'm just gonna put a little bit more of a wrapper on all of the services that we've gone over today and how important it is that they're all included. So on the Facebook side of things, your website has to be fast. So that's why you have to choose the proper website development service company. If your ads take a while to get me to your website, you lost me. In addition to that, the SEO part of your website needs to be strong and done right so that Google keeps you in the right place. So all of these things wired together are what makes you successful with your online marketing.
Right. Couldn't agree with you more. So thank you for that, Louis. What other questions, if any, are out there?
Hey, Beth, Eric, I just put a question. I'm trying to, I'm also monitoring Facebook. And so someone asked if, does it come with hashtag manager?
Right.
Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah. So again, hashtags on Facebook are pretty ineffective. But however, again, out of the other side of my mouth, there is a new thing that will connect with hashtags. But if you're gonna look for the best hashtags, go to besthashtags.com, and you're specifically those are driven primarily for Instagram and Twitter. But let's say that you have a company that deals with pets or dogs. So you would go to besthashtags.com and you would type in dogs or dog lovers or dog owners. It'll give you the top performing and influential hashtags for your posts. So that's what I would recommend, or that's what we use and we recommend to our clients as well.
Is that the best hashtag or best dash hashtag?
Yes.
Okay. Great. All right. Great job. Does anyone have any questions that where they want to unmute and ask any questions for Louis and Beth? Right now is your chance. Right now is the opportunity.
Now 30. It's now 30. But
I think Chris has one. Chris, you there? I don't know. Okay. You're unmuted.
Can you hear me now, right, Eric?
Yeah, I can hear you a little bit.
Okay. Hey, Beth. Hey, Louis. Thanks for this discussion. Hey, just a question. So Facebook, great platform. I'm a B2B guy, you know, as we talk about, you know, the B2C play, it looks like Facebook's a good platform for that. What's your impression of B2B versus B2C when it comes to Facebook, LinkedIn, et cetera?
Good question. Good question. So yes, macro level, Facebook is more B2C, LinkedIn is more B2B. However, depending, Facebook, again, with how many billion users, there are consumers who own businesses, plumbers, HVAC, auto shop. So they are on Facebook. And I struggled with that as well. I was kind of like, God, well, you know, my client typically lives on LinkedIn. I get more leads off of Facebook, believe it or not. And I'm B2B.
There was a report out about 6 months ago that I ran across that Facebook has quietly become the B2B place. So as Beth was alluding to a minute ago, it was hard to see how that was going when we always knew it was not. But it has quietly become that. So when you have 2.5 billion people, the odds are that there are going to be business owners there. And so it works well.
Right, Chris, the other thing I wanted just to reiterate too, if let's just say you were going to do a Facebook ad, you know, create a Facebook ad and upload your past client list or past prospect list, we can target those people. They more than likely have a Facebook profile with your business to business ad. Because if I'm, you know, again, if I'm a plumber and I'm at home and, you know, I'm sitting on my couch and I see something on Facebook that connects with what I do, not necessarily who I am, that's the difference. So you want to definitely harness that power.
Love it. Thanks. Thanks again.
You bet.
There's a question in the chat. Is there a source for best SEO for individual businesses?
There are many. That would require more of an offline conversation. Keywords, I can send you the list of some of the sources that we use, but there are many different ones. We use Ahrefs to go in and analyze the effectiveness of keywords and also look at what our competitors for our clients, what keywords they're optimized for. But it takes a lot of technical skills and almost IT astuteness to understand what it means and then how to use it as a tool to grow that business. But yes, there are. I can talk to Matt and see what we can, you know, share and what we can, because again, you have to, it is highly skilled. You got to have the education to understand how to effectively not only SEO on page, off page, and technically, but understand what Google best practices are, because you don't want to put your client at risk or your own business at risk for being non-compliant with what their expectations are. That'll be a world hurt.
Great. I have another question. I have a list of questions, but so, you know, going back to Google My Business, right? We started it here for our company, but like you said, it's a lot of work. I mean, you have to be on there day by day by day to really, you know, grow it. But what about photos? Are those good things to put up that'll help drive, you know, your Google My Business to the top?
Yes. So let's talk about that. That's a really good question. So how you know, like for Divine Solutions Group, what we do is we typically post with a link. So we'll put up an image, and then we'll click on Learn More. And then under Learn More, we'll attach a link to our latest blog or tips and, whatever tips and tricks or whoever. Then in the description or the post part of it, we put in the SEO, the intentional search words that people would, best practices for pivoting my business through COVID 2020, something like that. So Google will catch that in my description and will drive people to that particular post. So yes, video, images, be mindful and thoughtful of the content. Just don't throw it up there. I see people do it all the time. I mean, it's a living, breathing thing. You can't set it and forget it.
Another question in regards to ADA compliance. So when do you know that you should be ADA compliant on your website?
Well, you should be now. Okay. Our site is, if you go to our site, you can see it's very discreet, but the code that we use, we'll make a website with, there's 2 exceptions, PDF files and video. They have to be manually done, but within 24 hours, the coding that we do gets it up to ADA compliance. And there's also a monthly report that shows you, where you're compliant and if there's been anything that's added that's maybe potentially not compliant. So having visibility of that is very, very important. So yeah, it's a thing. So, I mean, if you're doing it now, I mean, if you're thinking about doing it now, you ought to do it. But it's a little bit behind the litigation curve for the smaller business. It's more into the corporate enterprise as well as municipality websites. So.
You have another question in the chat. What's the average time it takes for a startup to get any kind of recognition online?
Depends on how consistent you are. Depends on how consistent you are. So if you are, on social media, again, how are you suiting up and showing up? Are you piecemealing it together? So where's your website? Where's your anchor, your online store? Because you're thinking locally, but you need to act globally because you are now a global business. And so you want to make sure that, again, how we started out our presentation, Facebook ads, online reviews, website. And then I would take a pause and then just start driving those things, just using those things, driving people to the website to get your online or getting your recognition or brand exposure. And make sure, you should also have visibility to Google Analytics so you know where people are coming in to your site, what pages they're coming in, how long are they staying, what pages are they leaving on, what are the behaviors associated. Then you can build content around that. And so it's just really, there's not really an average time. It just depends. That is a moving target. So I wouldn't be able to articulately answer, what is the average time, but I can tell you that it takes time.
And that's one of the things that we say all the time to clients is, if you're looking to do this for 3 months, you're probably just throwing your money away. Now, that's not to say that there aren't certain businesses that start getting good results, which was one of the examples we showed today. They were getting results very early and very quickly. The thing is that may not happen for you. So when your visibility disappears, then so does the link. So the connections with you. So it's just one of those things you have to invest a little bit of time in, and we go and you just let it go, and it'll create its own path, and we'll work to increase the visibility and the amount of clicks you get over time.
Very good point. I want to, just something popped into my head about how, like, I walk into my office every day, my home office here, and this is really a mindset shift. Treat your business as if it was a client. Very often we get sucked into the vortex of this client wants that, or, I've got to get this out, I've got to do this, I got to, whatever. but treat your business as if it was a client. Put it in your workflow with your other clients. We do that, Louie. I mean, so it's, you have to give it the love and the attention that it deserves. And and study the data. You know, the numbers are your roadmap of where you need to move next. So be data driven.
And that's another reason why you need to give things some time, because it takes time for the data to come in and the data that you're going to need to improve things.
Mm-hmm. And you know what, guys? It's okay to go wrong in the right direction.
Yep.
Right? Because there's a learning curve to all of this. And, you know, like I said, we're a resource. We can, you know, we've been through it, and in some ways are still going through it. Okay. We're, like I say, we're all in it together. Right. And I would rather share with people that I know, you know, of, oh my gosh, don't do this. I did that. That messed me up by 6 months, you know. So it's okay then. You got to love yourself through the process, but treat your business like it's a client, and and just come out swinging it. Even if you're going wrong in the right direction, it's okay. It's how great things are built.
You said something earlier, and you said it before, but I can't remember. It's something from bricks to clicks.
Oh, so yeah. So brick and mortar. Again, I was telling you, I spent 25 years of my very young career in traditional retail. So brick and mortar stores, right? Brick and mortar has been taken out, and now we're into click and order. So now we're onto a digital store that people click and order from brick and mortar. And so if you have a retail establishment, get an online establishment and start reinventing your commerce online. And so that's really the new way of life.
So a lot of companies are now pivoting due to COVID from brick and mortar to click and order. Did I get it right?
Yes, you did.
And so, you know, I just like that concept of, you know, shifting. And this is what, you know, these webinars and presentations are about, pivoting through COVID, using the tools that you guys are offering to help us, you know, that are in business to grow and expand and to do it the right way. Yeah. I know, you know, we had this conversation. It takes a lot to put together your market plan. That's just like a job in itself. How does someone who owns their own business have the time to put all these pieces into place to make sure that their business is relevant?
Right. So here's what I would recommend. You gotta almost have to step outside of yourself. What's your vision? What do you want? I mean, our whole purpose, and you start with what the purpose of your business is. Our purpose is to position entrepreneurs and business owners to receive the financial independence they require and the work-life balance they deserve. That's what we built our business from. So with that, what happened, you know, you might think it's corny, but I have a vision board, and I look at that vision board every single day of what I want my life to look like and what I want my business. And in the middle of it is, the very middle says happy clients. And so I work to serve that client every day, and that purpose drives how I behave. And so, yeah, it's a full-time job. So what I would recommend, connect with your purpose, the center part of that, and then create a 90-day, a 30, 60, 90-day actionable and measurable plan of how you can at least start moving. And it's sort of a rolling, but you got to write it down. And, you know, if you plan your work your plan. So many people don't even, you know, they just throw stuff against the wall. Oh, you know, it's like firefighting versus fire preventing. You want to get into a place where you're managing your business and your business is not managing you. So with that, plan your work and then work the plan.
I have a comment. So, you know, Eric and I, we're not in the marketing business, but just came to mind from the presentation is that marketing it's complicated. You know, it's not an easy thing, and you have to be consistent, and it's time consuming. And so Eric and I are, like I said, not in the marketing business, but I would highly suggest you hire a professional like Beth and Louie to do your marketing so that you can focus on that vision board that you've created for yourself. And so, again, this is why we do these webinars, and that's why we're doing the COVID pivot, is to bring professionals to your business owners so that they can get the help that they need. Because, I mean, in business, everybody needs marketing. And we're not professional at it, nor do we have the time to keep up with it. That's why we connect with people like Beth and Louie to help us with our marketing. And so I just wanted to make that comment. Thank you for all that information that you shared with the listeners, because it was truly needed. You know, SEO, I didn't know what SEO was until I started my business. And then when I learned about how much time and the precise words and the, you know, it takes a professional to really get the SEOs to work for you. I mean, and then it's a trial and error, right? So you try it, if this works, you know. So, but then you, instead of spending your time on trying to figure that out, you have somebody else that is in the business figuring it out for you. So again, you can focus on your vision board. Right. But anyways, that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, thank you. Marketing is not sales. Marketing supports sales. That's the lead gen part. So, yep. Well, thank you so much, you guys. I mean, Eric and Linda, you guys are first class.
Absolutely.
And we really appreciate the opportunity to not only connect with you, but just see if we can help out, you know, our community, you know, one person at a time, because we all deserve to be successful.
One last thing I want to bring up to Linda is, you know, Linda, just because you go and buy a $2,000 Snap-on tool set doesn't make you a mechanic. So let us take care of that part. Not only do we have the tools, we know how to use them and where to put them to best suit your needs.
Well said, Louie.
Well, thank you guys, Louie and Beth. We really appreciate your time and your effort that you know, and knowledge that you shared with our community and those who are trying to make a difference in their business. We want to continue to help individuals strive and growing. And so we have next week, we have entrepreneurial mindset with Donna Bletzinger. She'll be coming in next Wednesday at 11 o'clock. Dynamic speaker, connected in the Bay Area with entrepreneurs and startups all around the country. You guys want to make sure you stay in tune and sign up, be a part of this event on next week. So I just want to say thanks again, Beth and Louie. Appreciate everything. You guys did an excellent job. I learned some stuff. I learned not to try to do my own marketing. For sure.
We're here to help, you know.
Yes.
And thank you to everyone who joined us today. It's truly appreciated, and we love doing this for people.
Thank you. All right.
If you missed any part of it, you know, it is recorded. Visit us on Workmind 209. If you need to find out their contact information, Louie and Beth, you know, rewind, rewatch it, you know, any part, it's still there. Have a great day, you guys.
Thank you so much, everyone. Have a wonderful day. See you next time.
Bye.